Sum up your mindset in one word.
Just positive, dude. I think, just always be positive. Just go for it,
Nice. Proudest moment personally and proudest moment professionally.
Personally, I don't know. I really never thought about this, but personally, probably the birth of my kids. Right? It's just a miracle. Really, really cool stuff, dude. It's just next level. You can't explain it. It's just phenomenal, and I hope
Love
everyone
that.
experience that. Right? Professionally, I've never I don't sit there and think about what I've achieved so far. And as I get older, I think I'll do that more and more. Hopefully, it's very important to stop and reflect in life.
Agreed.
For me, probably having my Christmas party, probably out of everything, 5-6 years ago, or maybe longer than that, and having my dad attend and saying to me that he's proud of me for what I've achieved. I think that was a very important moment for me, getting that feedback from my father.
Prior to that, was that you never would hear that sort of language from him or that sort of wording?
Not really. It's just that, you get a lot of accolades and a lot of things from everybody, but it's nice to hear from your family. And, my family's always been supportive and all that. But I think with men, all of us, even me, we find it very difficult to really express ourselves a lot of the times.
I like that.
It's a very, very special moment for me.
And at a Christmas party too. I like that. Yeah. Sam, this is a good one. Tell us something that no one knows about you.
Pretty transparent, man. I think you want to hear about me.
Give me something. Afraid of spiders?
No. I don't know. Really, I love to eat kidneys and lamb kidney and in the morning for breakfast.
In the morning for breakfast?
Yeah.
Lamb kidney.
It's a Persian thing, I get told off because the smell's not the best, so I'm not allowed to have it all the time. So if I'm ever home alone, I'll cook it up straight away.
How do you cook it? Like just grill it?
I go to South Melbourne Market. Lamb kidney. I'll put some onion, tomato, and make a bit of a jus. Put it in there, just cook it a little bit, and then just slam the bread in there and just eat it up.
So it's like a sandwich sort of thing, like a roll.
Yeah, something like that.
Lamb kidney. I love it for breakfast. Third last question. If you could choose to have lunch with any one person, dead or alive, you got a 2-hour time limit, who would it be and where would you have lunch?
Probably Barack Obama, man. I think he's a phenomenal guy. I think there's a lot to where he's come from, what he's achieved.
Agreed.
And to have a person like that, to sit down and talk to and get insight. I love older people because they just have they say, oh, they're smarter. I just think they've experienced more, and
Absolutely.
The more you experience, the more you make mistakes, and how you learn is by making mistakes. And the people you surround yourself with. Where would I eat? I'm boring again. Probably in the back room in Coco restaurant.
Totally.
If you want to find me, come to Coco. You'll find me. So
That's not boring. That's a pretty good spot there.
Yeah, I like
it. Second last one now. What was 10-year-old Sam like?
Oh, very different guy. Very different person to what I am today. Wow. Couldn't speak English, had no friends, in a whole new country, a lot of anger, lot of things going on inside me as a kid, as a young man. Very, very different to who I am today. So yeah, come a long way.
Absolutely. We'll get a little bit of the journey as we go through. Last question now, a good one. Who is your favorite superhero?
Believe it or not, dude, I don't have superheroes. That kind of stuff. If I was to have to pick one, probably Batman. I think it's pretty cool. The dark and all that.
Yeah, I like him too, purely because he's just a normal guy.
Yeah, 100%.
Or he's pretty well off.
Yeah.
But he's just a normal guy,
Yeah. Cool,
I like that. Hey man, that's rapid fire. Congratulations, well done. Look, again, like I said earlier at the start, I appreciate you making some time to come on here. I got so many questions. I've got nearly 2.5 pages worth of questions. Whether we get through them all or not, who knows? But we'll get through as many as we can, and we'll try and, like I said earlier, give some incredible feedback. But my first question, based off the last 18 months, what's been the biggest learning you've had personally through this whole COVID experience we've had, through lockdowns, through opening and closing, business, everything, family? Like, what's something that you could take away from this and say, I'm glad I learned that?
Learn to slow down. It's nice to slow down. I think as entrepreneurs, we come from a background where we always, pushing. It's never enough, So for me, to be honest, I hate to say this, but it's been one of the best experiences of my life. I've really, really slowed down, and I've concentrated on the most important thing in my life, which is my health. I'm exercising daily, and I feel phenomenal, man. I feel the strongest I've ever felt. I feel the most focused I've ever been.
Love that.
It's just been absolutely phenomenal. I thought, take a bad situation and turn it into the best as I can. And my number one goal was to look after my health and get to the best shape possible. So,
awesome. Prior to lockdown, was like health like a third or fourth on the priority list, or?
I tried my best, but there's too many things going on.
Totally.
You're traveling interstate, you're doing a lot of things. It makes it difficult, mate.
100%.
The reality is there's so much going on: dinners, socializing, traveling, all that kind of stuff, which kind of makes it more difficult. But with this, sleep early, waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning,
nice,
the routine, I feel phenomenal. It's just been the most amazing thing ever.
And obviously, the plan is to continue that even once we. 100%. Good. I like that. I know we said we weren't going to talk a lot about the money and the cars and all that sort of stuff, but I have one question. It sort of goes back to the mindset of it.
Sure, man.
When you got your first, so obviously I guess a lot of, like you said, entrepreneurs, and even if you're not an entrepreneur, like you got people have big visions, big dreams, whether supercars are their things or not, or houses, boats, whatever.
Yeah.
When you got your first supercar, that 6 months before, where were you at as like mindset? Where were you at as like a person? Because it's like the Sam of now is, like you said, a different Sam of who that person was 10 odd years ago. What was happening in that time before you, and what was the feeling like before you purchased that first one?
Yeah, never thought about it. I was too busy working. I was too busy working. I didn't sit there. I didn't have a poster of a car on my wall. I didn't think about, I'm going to buy a car. I was too busy working. I went to US. I was up in LA for a conference. I went to rent a Range Rover for the day. There was a 458 Italia Spider Ferrari next to the Range Rover. I looked at it. It was $2,500 US to rent it for the day. I was a friend of mine, and he goes to me, well, you should get that car. And I was like, well, it's a lot of money. He's just like, just do it. Who cares? You spend money on other stuff. Worry, So reluctant. I rented the car. Didn't go to the conference that day. Went up to Malibu, and the joy I got from driving that car that day, it was phenomenal, man. Like, I'm a massive believer of putting it out there, massive believer of experiencing things. And I just came back to Oz, and I went and I just bought a car. I bought a 488, a GTV. And I guess the excitement was picking that car up on the day. Life's all about experiences. It's about going on a journey and enjoying yourself. It was a phenomenal feeling. I don't think I'll ever forget the feeling of that day when I picked the car up. But beforehand, it just kind of happened. With my life, like, I don't overanalyze things. Things just happen. I go with the flow. So, yeah, man, that's what happened.
I love that. Before the hiring the 458, was it a vision of ever owning supercars, or?
I always loved supercars, man. I always loved cars. As a kid, I used to jump on my dad's lap every morning before he start the engine. I used to put the first gear in. Back then, it was all manual cars.
Yeah, totally.
I've always been fanatical about cars. Love cars. I'm a boy, so
100%. Yeah. Okay. I like that. It's almost like you weren't attached to getting it. Like you weren't like, I have to get it.
Nah, never thought about it,
and
man.
Because of that, yeah,
never thought about it. I was never one of those guys. I'm still not, man. I don't sit there overthinking things,
I like it.
And I always think something will always happen. Just commit.
Totally. Obviously, more recently, and again, I've been following you for a few years now, and I've seen more recently now, probably like the last, again, maybe 18 or so months, giving like really heartfelt content, real, like giving back in a way. Has that always been something that you've wanted to do, or did you just feel like now or when it started was the perfect time?
Yeah, dude, it's like, I don't do Instagram. I don't make a cent from Instagram. I get a lot of people asking me for coaching and or mentoring and all that kind of stuff. I've never ever done it. Always say, it's not something that I'll do. Follow me on Instagram. I don't do it to show off cars. I don't do it to show off what I have. I couldn't give a shit. I have nothing to prove to anyone. I've always done it because I know what it feels like not to have anything in life. I know what it feels like for people not to believe in you. I know what it feels like to go to a normal school. I know what it feels like to have those shitty shoes. I know what it feels like to sit there and say, why not me? So, mate, the only reason why I've done it is to give back in my own way. My reward is getting those DMs. My reward is when people see me and come and say hello and say thank you. And I love that, and that's
100%.
to know you're doing that, and when you do that to some, you get that from a 15, 16-year-old girl or boy or whatever, and, and it makes a small difference in their life, even if it makes a difference in one day and they forget about it. I couldn't care less, I've done my part, and that's all there is to it.
I love that. Like, you've made their day better in one way, shape, or another. Yeah.
Even if it's for one day, it doesn't cost me. It costs me my time.
Totally.
I could be doing anything,
You just rip the phone out, give some content, give some real heartfelt content, and just share where it's coming from. I like that. You started Broadband Solutions back 2005, is that correct?
2005, that's
with $1,000.
Yeah, probably even less, to be honest, but yeah.
Okay. If you had $1,000 again today, no experience, like you're the same age, you're $1,000, what would you do with that $1,000?
I'll do what I've just done with Broadband Solutions. I'll do all over again.
Same thing?
Yeah, mate. Look, that's what I knew. I always say, I knew internet. That's what I did before I started Broadband Solutions. So it's always about sticking to what you know. You know what I mean? If I had $1,000, I wouldn't go and do something different. So if I was doing something else besides internet, and that's what I was experiencing, I'll do that. You know
Get into that field.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you see that as a bit of not a problem? I don't like using the word problem. There are no problems. There's always a solution. But do you see that as a bit of a speed hump and through social media, people are getting caught up looking at everything and they don't really follow what it is that they want to go down?
They get distracted. Everybody,
totally.
Like Joe Blow's doing that. I should go and do the same thing. Cars or the house or whatever. Joe Blow is doing that because that's what they know. You do what you know what I mean? Like people always tell me, can you come and invest in a restaurant with me, this and that? I said, mate, the only thing I know about restaurant is how to eat. What do I know?
I'll be there every night eating all your food.
Yeah. What do I know about running a restaurant?
Totally.
So even later on down the track, you got to stick to what you know. That's the best thing you can do. Anything more, you're going down the wrong path, and it'll be a very costly experience.
Totally. You might have some short-term success because whatever it is, the market's hot for whatever it is you're doing, but long-term you'll probably end up unhappy and not really wanting to be there. And in 2005, when you started, I just want to go back to that time, because again, there might be a lot of listeners who are starting a business a year into their business journey. What was your mindset like at that time? Like, what was your self-belief like, the confidence? Who were you at that time when you started?
I was a great salesman. I was the best salesman in my field. I was number one. I was very, very good at what I did. I had all the confidence in the world that I could make this happen, make this work. I never dreamt of being where it is today.
Of course.
But I was very confident that I will do well. And I was hungry. And at the same time, I was scared of failing, embarrassment, letting others down, including myself and others that are close to me, and being a failure. And that's not a bad thing, because that, in conjunction with the confidence, that's what pushes you. Did I want to stop doing what I was doing? Fuck yeah, 100%. There's so many times that I thought, why don't I go and do something else on the side? Why don't I just go and get a 9-to-5 job? Hundreds of times.
Even after you started Broadband Solutions.
Yeah, it's right. The journey. I used to think about it all the time, man, because we're turning over $2,000-3,000 a month. Ridiculous. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm missing out. I could be doing something else, this and that, 100%. But I just kept at it. And, I didn't listen to everybody that said, you should, what are you doing, this and that. I just kept at it. And it probably took 2 or 3 years before it kind of took off,
Wow.
I kept doing it, mate,
What pushed you in that time, though? Like, what was it that made you keep turning up?
I didn't want to fail. I didn't want to be an embarrassment. I didn't want to be a failure, I got a lot of ego. So sometimes ego is very good, but sometimes it's really good too, because it's what drives you, right? Otherwise, it's very easy to quit.
Agreed.
You can quit. It didn't work. Pissed off and do something else and do something else. And then all you do is you're just going around in circles, doing a million things. You never concentrate on one thing.
Totally.
You end up being, you know what I mean?
So would you say it was like that you really just stuck at the vision, even though it doesn't matter how hard it got?
I got no other choice anyway. I really, that's all I knew. That's what I was good at. So I just stuck at it, and I just kept pushing forward, and good things happen. Throughout
Over
the
that
journey.
period of time, yeah. Did you go cold turkey from quitting full-time work to straight into this, or was it a transition?
No, I did it while I was working somewhere else.
Yeah,
It was not possible to quit and start
totally.
all over again.
So,
I didn't have my mum and dad to go to and asking for a bit of money. I didn't have anyone to go to ask for money to help
yeah,
me.
same.
So I was working at the same time, mate. I was working in the morning somewhere else, at night coming and doing this.
Love
I was
that.
doing it at the same time. I had no choice. There's no other option.
Love that. And I think that's really good for people to hear because they sort of think nowadays like you have to be one or the other.
No, you don't. You don't.
You
I
don't.
think
And
that's stupid, actually, to be honest. Like, unless you got savings, unless you got backing, how are you going to do that? It's not possible.
exactly right.
There's no choice. I had to do it.
Exactly right. And I think getting rid of that stigma of that you have to be one or the other and then making it more acceptable and that's normal to say, I'm going to keep working as a lawyer until I open my own legal firm, whatever, or whatever it is, if you want to change passions, understanding that. Yeah, 100%. I think that's a really good bit of information there. The drive, ambition, focus, everything that you have now that you spoke about, was that something what you've always had, or have you got it more so these last couple of years, or is that you even?
I had it way more. I had it way more before. I was a survivor, man. I had to survive. I was always a battler all through my life. At school, I used to get picked on. I had to use my fists to stand up for myself all the time. So I always fought all through my life. I didn't go to an elite school. I didn't have the network that a lot of rich kids have these days. When you look at the kind of kids we're breeding these days in Australia, it's an absolute joke. And they still sit there and cry about little things in life. Are you kidding?
And they whinge, yeah.
I came from a war-torn country when we had to run for our life because they were bombing the streets, So when you see that, and then I coming here being locked up for a number of years, then going to school, couldn't speak a word of English, getting picked on. So, mate, all my life I had to survive. I had to stand on my own 2 feet. I didn't have someone there to, look after me.
Totally.
And that's what drove me to where I am. In the later years, you become more comfortable, and I hate that feeling. You become complacent and lazy a little bit. You know what I mean?
Have you started to experience that? You'd say a little bit.
Yeah, man, 100%. Because you're not as hungry as you used to be. So you gotta start thinking bigger and bigger. You gotta set your goals higher and higher to push yourself more.
Is that what you've started to do more recently?
Yeah. Of course. Otherwise, if your belly's full, what are you fighting for? Nothing.
True. I like that. Well, this sort of ties into my sort of next question, it's good that you mentioned earlier that, you're making about 2-3K a month for a period of time at the start of the business. What did you and the team and the business have to do to go from 2-3K a month to 10 a month, to then to 20, to then to 50? Because it's one thing to make a lot of money, that's great, but it's another thing to keep it and continually keep making that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So what did you do to grow? Because again, the listeners might be, I can't understand Sam because he makes over $1 million a month because I'm only making 1,000. So what did you do when you were making 1,000 to get to 5,000?
I networked the right people. I answered the phone calls when the calls came in. I followed up. Like, a lot of this shit's common sense, right?
Agreed. But look, everyone's looking for the magic pill now. There's something else. There was something they're thinking.
No, there's no magic pill now.
I like that.
And I built a recurring business. I don't believe this. I don't understand the whole concept of a business where you get a job, you get paid for it, then you look for the next job. I built a company where it was all recurring revenue for 3 to 5 year contracts. Yeah. I wanted to always see what was coming up the next 2 or 3 years. Not, wow, what are we going to do tomorrow? What are we going to do
totally
next? So for me, recurring revenue is king. And for me, it was just about continuing to push forward and network and work hard. Dude, I did like 12, 14, 16-hour days. Like, my
it's normal.
I was answering phone calls for a help desk. There was no team. What team? It was me, my business partner, and a blind gentleman that we hired because we promised, because he used to work with us in the old company and they made him redundant when that company went public. And me and my business partner promised each other the first employee would be Scott, who was absolutely like fully blind. And he was our first employee. And that was it. There was no team. There was only 3 people. That's it. We did everything: sales, marketing, support, accounts, the whole lot. All right.
Love that.
That's good.
You know why I love hearing that, Sam, is because, again, it's this whole stigma of you need to have 30 people working for you and you're wasting time if you're doing the marketing when you're not a marketing person. But fuck, when you're making $1,000 a month, you're not going to be able to do that.
It's bullshit. Doesn't work like that.
Agreed.
You know, it's like even in my old office, I used to see all these people come and open up the fanciest offices, the best chairs, best computers. 6 months down the track, they go broke. What are you doing? You're already in the red.
Totally. Why are you spending $1,000 on a bloody office chair from Officeworks for?
It looks good, so they can put it on Instagram. It's just,
totally for the gram. When you say networking, what was that? Was that going on networking events? Was that just because obviously social media wasn't around then, so it's a bit of a different time.
Yeah, just meeting the right people, mate. Like just going, like if I met someone, I ask them if they can introduce me to someone else. I ask them if they come to whatever sporting event they went to. I'll go along, say hello to the people that they knew, network with them. It was an old school way of doing it. Like there was not much on Instagram back then. And we're talking about like I was doing guys that were double my age. Yeah. So it was in my 50s, 60s. It's totally different old school mentality. So it's just about face to face, shaking hands, having a couple of beers, and the old school way.
I like that. So for you to what would be some of your tips and advice on people who have, let's say they've got a significant amount of wealth, and the number doesn't really matter. Like in their world, whatever it means to them, awesome. How have you maintained keeping it? Let's go back to that recurring thing where you know that over the next 3 to 4 years you're going to get contracts and it's going to be this amount of money. Or what have you done to keep your money but keep growing it?
I just concentrate on the main point, which is making sure that we're always moving forward every day. I diversify into other things. I love property. Property is a big thing for me. Diversification is big as well. You're not going to always get it right. That's why you diversify on a number of
totally
that you're passionate about. I love property. I'm passionate about property. Like it's awesome. I love stocks, and all that kind of stuff. Some I've done well in, some I've done terribly in. I enjoy it, and it's all about just focusing. Don't get I don't remember the last time I looked at my bank account. Honestly, I have no idea. Don't get consumed by that shit. What you should get consumed by is just moving forward, working, growing a team. And the biggest enjoyment is seeing your fellow team members also grow. It's not just all about you.
Absolutely.
It's about seeing other benefit as well. Creating a community, within your work office and all that. It's not just all about you. You get people that just think, oh, it's all about me. Workers are there to work and that's it. It doesn't work like that. You want to succeed like that. Everybody has to win. You have to win. The team has to win, and the clients have to win.
Absolutely.
Everybody has to get something out of it. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Because if you and that's it's an interesting answer in a way, because you'd think again you sort of did mention the stocks and all that sort of stuff, but the major thing that you touched on there was growing the people around you. Because how are you going to ever get more or grow bigger, or your company's going to grow if the people around you aren't growing?
100%. Who are you going to high five? Who are you going to high five when you're doing 100%. Well? You're going to high five yourself in the mirror. Who are you going to go tell your wins to? Who are you going to cry when things are going wrong? You're going to have someone there. You know what I mean? If you don't have a team there, you become a very lonely person. You can have all the money in the world. What's it going to do?
Man, it means nothing.
Yeah.
What's your internal dialogue like? How do you talk to yourself? They're even then, growing and you, like you said, keep turning up, keep moving forward. How do you talk to yourself? What goes through your head?
Yeah, my head. I kick myself in the ass a lot. Yeah, I tell myself, come on, you got to push. I talk to myself about life and balance a lot. I talk to myself about discipline a lot. I talk about, sometimes slowing down. And as I said, Claire's helped me with that. Smelling the roses and just being happy with what you have. Being content is very important, man. You could have all the money in the world, doesn't make you happy.
Absolutely.
There is so much you need to be okay. Somebody could have 100 million, you could have 5 million. You can't buy a jet, but you can always rent a jet. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's much of the muchness. I like that.
Yeah, man, and don't compare yourself with everybody else. Just compare yourself with yourself. There's always going to be someone better looking than you, someone tougher than you, and someone richer than you in the room.
Yeah.
So we're going to stop. Do you understand what I mean? And if you're not happy with who you are, you'll never be happy. Just don't worry about it. Just enjoy life.
Is that a skill is that a trait and a belief that you've always had, or is that something again you've probably more worked on recently?
I never had that. I never felt good enough. I always thought that your worth is based on your status and your income as a kid, because that's what society tells us. As you grow up, you realize that I don't need to have 10 Cartier bracelets around my fucking head. I don't need to. Okay, it's nice to have nice things. Yeah,
of course.
I wear it every day. I watch it every day. I don't even wear a watch. I'm wearing a $20
not dry fit. I love that.
What I mean, dude? But they all comes with age, dude.
Absolutely.
counted age. Yeah, I didn't think this way when I was 30 years old. I didn't think I was 35 years old. Things happen around you. People that you meet influence you. It's so important when you meet. They all influence you. Everybody touches you some way, or shape or form. And that's why it's so important to surround yourself with good people that want the best for you. And they could be half your age, and they can still learn a lot from you. You know what I mean? That's very, very important.
Was there a pivotal moment that happened for you?
There's been a lot of moments for me. There's still a lot of moments for me every day. Things happen. I'm far from perfect. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've done a lot of things that I'll probably look back at now that I'll be like, wow, how did I manage to do that?
Yeah.
That's life, but you can't be too hard on yourself. I didn't have a manager or a mentor or someone that was there all the time saying, don't do this. Even if they did, you probably won't listen to them anyway.
Totally.
Right?
Until you fuck it up a few times anyway. Yeah.
100%, man. Behind the ears a few times. And that's just being real. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Happens. And yeah.
I like that. I love the openness and the rawness of it. You're just like, this is how it was, and this is how it is, and this is how I went through it. As we sort of start to wrap it up and end this little incredible episode, all bullshit aside, what do you see like as some of the major challenges in society at the moment? Not talking about COVID too much, like that's a whole nother political conversation, but just in general, let's look at the business and entrepreneur world, and then even just life in general. Because like you said, you've had a lot of experience, you've seen a lot, you've met some incredible people. Where do you see some of the biggest problems, challenges in society at the moment?
There's a lot of fakeness around, okay? And there's a lot of judgment around. When you walk into a room or when you see someone for the first time, or when you're walking through somewhere, people will look at you up and down and judge you based on your appearance, your color, the way you speak. So you can spend a lot of time trying to fit in to what society says is okay. Or you can just be yourself. Be open to learning. You can't be ignorant or arrogant. Okay, you never know everything. If you think like that, you're an idiot. You have to be open to learning, open to listening, and just be yourself. But above all, be a good human. Be a kind person. Be generous, because I'm a massive believer of karma. Massive believer of karma, right? It's okay if it takes 10 years to get there. It's okay. What is your rush?
Totally.
Right? The journey. You go on a journey. Enjoy
Absolutely.
it. You know what I mean? Everybody wants that thing today, tomorrow. But don't get sucked into the bullshit, right? All the shit that people see on Instagram and everything, you don't know what goes on behind closed doors.
Totally, behind the camera.
They're not going to put their arguments with their partner or business partner or whatever it may be on Instagram, right?
Totally.
And I was like, a lot of it's fake. A lot of it's all rented on credit. Don't let it consume you.
Totally.
Be a happy person. Be grateful. Have gratitude for what you have. And at the end of the day, always stop and say, what did I achieve today? What did I actually achieve today? All right. And don't get sucked into all that. Because if you do get sucked into that, you'll end up having a very empty life when you look back.
Yeah, I like that. Well said. I like what you said there as well. It's like we're all trying to fit into like a fake world. You know, like everyone's trying to fit into what social media says, but that's also not reality. Unfortunately. Like maybe if there was a platform where like, let's show you the truth. Like, let's show you what happens. Like a female, when they first get out of bed, what do they actually really look like? You know what I mean?
And like, we all get sucked into some way or form of shape.
Of course.
I use filters sometimes. Who cares?
As you do. Absolutely. Yeah.
But you can't let it take over your life. Otherwise, you're finished,
For someone who is consumed in the social media, like especially now because of lockdown, like that's all they've got, like they're not leaving their home. Like what would be some of your advice? Like what would be some tips to say, forget that shit?
Take some time out. It's nice to take some time out. I took 2 weeks off, and it was one of the best things I've ever done. I got so many messages saying, "Is everything okay? Is something wrong?" Like, oh man, this is the purpose. I better just cut that down because everyone's messaging me saying, "Are you okay?" I'm like, I'm okay. So just do it because you enjoy it. Don't do it because I'm watching. It's crazy, like Melbourne lockdown's going to be over, I think, on Friday or something.
Yeah.
I've had a message to me going, hey, where are we going out? Where are we going? Oh, relax. You don't have to go out. Not everybody has to go out on Friday, man.
Totally.
SMSs I've had. What are we going to book? What are we going to book? I ain't booking nothing. I'm going to be at home relaxing with my family.
100%.
But it's just crazy. People get so consumed because they want to go out and put all that shit on Insta.
Absolutely.
It's just like,
and I love the media building the hype, saying, oh, it's free, like they did in New South Wales, Freedom Day. It's like, when did we ever lose our freedom to have to say it's Freedom Day now? You know,
get to a third world country, you see what freedom's about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, yeah. And you see a lot of it if you do some real research yourself and go and look at some of the real content out there, not the stuff they show on the news. But like I said, we're not going to get into a political conversation right now. What would be some, as we start to wrap it up, give me 3 tips, someone that wants to be successful, achieve wealth, do more in life. One, what have you seen that's worked for you, but what have you seen that's worked for some of the best people around you?
Be passionate about, love what you do. Work hard, never give up, and think long term. Always long term. Okay. I think if you get those 3 things right, it's worked for me. So
I love that. Work hard.
Put that into your formula.
Where to next for you? Obviously, like you said, you've reached a really good level of success. What's the next big visions, goals? Where's Sam going in the next 5-10 years?
I've got a lot to do. I have a lot of fun. You know, I want to have more fun, you know, do good things, meet beautiful people, eat a lot of food, travel, do things that I love, you know, give back, leave a legacy of some sort, you know.
Yeah.
It's nice to do those things, man. I've got a lot on. I'm only 43, mate. I'm going to be doing it while I'm probably till 80, 90, who knows. As long as
and the rest.
I'm enjoying myself, I will keep doing it. And the moment that I don't enjoy what I do, I will never do it again. So that's what it comes down to.
Second last question. One thing you wish you knew 10 years ago?
Oof. More networking, you know, and less ego. and know myself better, like how I do now, if I did 10 years ago.
More networking, less ego.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's sort of like an experience thing. As you go by in time, like you have those networking experience moments where you're just sort of like, I don't want to be someone, but you met someone cool. It's like, wow, that's a good thing. Maybe I should do it more often. And you sort of just add it more into your lifestyle. I like that.
And it's okay to ask. It's okay to ask.
100%. 100%. I like that. Last question for me, Sam. Yep. Your best life lesson so far?
Less talking, more listening.
2 ears, 1 mouth, as they say.
But also, just respect your elders. Like, respect goes a long way. It's a shame we don't see much of it anymore. Chivalry, like, be a nice person, open a door to someone, 100%. Say thank you, say please. Common sense, yeah. A lot of people don't have a lot of common sense. Don't be arrogant. Just be humble, yeah, and just be yourself. Those things go a long, long way. And, you know, if some people make fun of you, they don't like it, that's okay. Take the high ground. Have a laugh.
100%. Laugh it off. I like that, because that's ultimately, if you can't have fun, like you can't have a laugh. Like if you're going to take everything so seriously, then, you know, unfortunately, life's going to be pretty sad, because there's a lot of shit things that happen. Unfortunately, you're going to have to laugh it off a little bit. But hey, Sam, man, I appreciate your time, most importantly. I got through nearly 3/4 of my questions, but I don't want to hold you up for any much longer. And I think we had some good conversations there, some good takeaways. I appreciate. Hey, man, where is someone listening doesn't follow you, doesn't know, has never heard of Sam before? Where's the best spot for them to follow and engage and get more of what you're about?
First of all, thank you for making the time for today. I really appreciate you. And I want to say thank you to the people that are going to listen to this podcast. I hope you take away something positive from it. Awesome. Just follow me on Instagram, Sam Bashiry. That's probably the best place to catch me on, or, you know, listen to my podcast. Going from thousands to
absolutely.
Millions.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely go and do that. I've listened to all the episodes too myself. So you've got some incredible content, more that comes out of you, and then also the guests that you have through there as well. So yeah, 100% all the listeners should definitely go and right now, even once you finish this one, go and quickly search it up and get a quick episode with Sam and his amazing guest. But man, again, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. And to everyone else out there, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Bye for now.